going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another daily Man City transfer update. It's transfer deadline day. We're looking at the time of me recording this, just under 3 hours left of the transfer window. We're looking probably by the time this goes out, probably closer to 2 hours left of the transfer window. So we've got no contract news to speak about today. We're just going to dive straight on in with the outs. Bear with me as I go through this, because I'm going to go through this one quite quickly until we get into the real meat of the video. So firstly, I want to speak about is a player called Luca Fletcher, plays for Man City's academy. Fabrizio Romano has said that Ipswich Town in the Championship have agreed a loan deal with an obligation to buy. I'm waiting on word on what that agreed fee is for the 18-year-old CFA player to join Ipswich Town. We're just waiting for that to be made official. Another City youngster that's going to be leaving is Lakyle Samuel. He's set to join Bromley on loan in League 2. That's the fourth tier of English football. That's going to be a season-long loan, according to the Manchester Evening News. Another youngster that's going to be leaving is Mahamadou Susoho. He's set to join Livingstone in the Scottish Premier League. He's going to be joining them on a season-long loan. Again, waiting for that to be made official. That information again coming via the Manchester Evening News. Peter O'Rourke has said that Sheffield Wednesday are keen on making a late loan move for Jaden Heskey from Manchester City's academy on transfer deadline day. Again, waiting to see if that does get agreed and that transfer can get sorted. Again, these agreements all be being put into place, but it doesn't guarantee that these transfers do actually happen. So when I get round to do my transfer update tomorrow, mopping up everything that's happened on transfer deadline day, we will have clarity on these deals. Now moving on, we've got the latest on Issa Kabore, and Ben Jacobs has said that Issa Kabore this morning is close to joining Wrexham in the Championship on a season-long loan, joining Callum Doyle, who made a permanent transfer earlier this summer to Wrexham. The Athletic have said that there is no purchase option included on the Kabore deal. It is a straight loan, so I imagine Wrexham will be covering most, if not all, of his wage, and also probably paying Manchester City a loan fee as well. Issa Kabore, I think, will be a cracking signing for Wrexham in the Championship. Now moving on, we've got the latest on Ilkay Gundogan. He's been linked with the exit door at Manchester City. He did make the squad for Man City's away match that they lost 2-1 yesterday against Brighton and Hove Albion. Ilkay Gundogan was an unused substitute, but he did make the squad. And we've not really had any developments on that until the last few minutes, and Yagiz Sabuncuoglu over in Turkey has said that Galatasaray have now offered personal terms to Ilkay Gundogan worth €5 million a season. That's a contract worth £4.32 million over the year. You divide that by 52, takes you to just over £83,000 a week. He's on just under £170,000 a week at Manchester City on his current contract, so he's going to be halving his wage. And you might be thinking, why on earth would he contemplate doing that? Well, several factors. Firstly, he's only got 10 months left on his City contract, and it's looking like he's not going to be signing a new contract at City, so in 10 months' time, he has to find a new club anyway. So if Galatasaray come in and are prepared to offer Gundogan 3 or 4 years, that ties him down for the next 3 or 4 years and takes away that problem. And he does get half of his wage, but he's only going to get that for 10 months, then he has to leave. Whereas if he gets a 3 or 4 year contract for a wage that he's happy with, then fantastic. But also, Ilkay Gundogan happy to go to Turkey. He's always wanted to move to Turkey. He spoke very highly of making a move to Turkey. It's where his family's heritage is from, after all. So there is that appeal as well for Ilkay Gundogan. And Manchester City are happy to let Ilkay Gundogan leave. Might be a small fee, may even be no fee paid here for Ilkay Gundogan. I think City have always been open for letting Gundogan leave, whether that be right at the early parts of the summer transfer window or right at the end. And this is going to help Manchester City sort out their potential registration problems, in particular in the UEFA Champions League. But I have to wait to see which players exactly do leave Manchester City before it gives us a better idea about what our registrations are going to look like. Now, in terms of Ilkay Gundogan, the Turkish transfer window shuts on September 11th, so this doesn't need sorting today. If Gundogan doesn't get registered by Manchester City, then he's basically got all international duty to get this sorted. And considering Ilkay Gundogan's retired from international duty with Germany, there is no real rush to make this happen. But this transfer would allow Manchester City to be able to register another non-homegrown player, and I am keeping my eyes and ears open on developments, in particular when it comes to Stefan Ortega. So Man City could well have 4 goalkeepers registered, and trust me guys, I'm going to lay into that if Man City end up having any injury crises throughout the season, and it's not in the goalkeeping position, because no team needs 4 goalkeepers, 2 non-homegrown and 2 homegrown homegrown. It's just a waste of a spot of a non-homegrown player. Remember that non-homegrown player, if things had been sorted out quicker by City and managed this transfer window better, we could have been targeting a nice non-homegrown right-back to have been brought in, which would have been a better way of spending our money rather than looking at 4 goalkeepers and keeping a goalkeeper because you can't find another club for this goalkeeper, which I find absolutely baffling. And having such depth in quality in your goalkeeping ranks just smells like something Chelsea would do rather than Manchester City, and it's all just been a bit of a mess. I do go into more detail on this, by the way, on my latest episode of the Transfer Show, if you want to go and check that out. Now, we have had a quick line whilst I've been filming this video on Kalvin Phillips, and Rob Dawson at ESPN has said that Kalvin Phillips looks set to remain at Man City past this summer transfer deadline after his Achilles surgery that he had earlier this summer has left him unable to train, so he's not fit to find a new club. And Kalvin Phillips basically going to be spending between September and January 1st working on his fitness to see if he can find a new club in January. Kalvin Phillips, I'm certain, will not be registered though by Manchester City. Now, moving on, we've had some big developments on Manuel Akanji, and he has been linked with the exit door at Manchester City as well. He also made the squad like Ilkay Gundogan did against Brighton away at the weekend, and just like with Ilkay Gundogan, was an unused substitute in that game. Anyway, The Guardian have said that Akanji's camp continued to talk and work on an exit away from Manchester City, but they were struggling to make that happen. And early this morning, it was reported that Akanji was closer to staying at Manchester City than he was securing a transfer away from the club. However, hours later, Fabrizio Romano went and dropped the exclusive that Inter Milan had submitted a loan bid to Manchester City worth €2 million as an upfront loan fee. That's £1.73 million in a loan fee, with an option to buy Manuel Akanji worth €15 million, which is £12.98 million. Fabrizio Romano has said that this is an option rather than an obligation, but there is the option of this potentially becoming an obligation if certain clauses are met. These clauses are difficult to achieve. They've been set as Akanji featuring in at least half of all games involving Inter Milan, and also Inter Milan going on to win Serie A. If that happens, then it is then becomes an obligation to buy rather than an option to buy. We're looking here at a similar transfer fee that we've been working on with Manuel Akanji, and I felt like if City had a little more time in this transfer window, would have probably found a permanent transfer for Akanji rather than a loan transfer. This transfer, though, has had the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. A medical has been arranged for this afternoon for Akanji. The Italian window does shut at the same time as the English window at 7 p.m. BST, and Marzio has just posted whilst I'm filming this that Manuel Akanji has now arrived in Milan ahead of signing his loan contract and completing his medical to sign for Inter Milan. So that's the very latest on that transfer. I'm having to multitask here, it's difficult, so please do allow it. So moving on, we've got the very latest on Ederson, and of course he's been getting linked with the exit door, and like Gundogan, like Akanji, made the squad for Man City in our match against Brighton at the weekend. However, again, was an unused substitute for Manchester City. Anyway, James Trafford ended up starting that game, and I found that very interesting, and was suggesting to me that Ederson, being Man City's only fit goalkeeper, had to be the goalkeeper that were going to go onto the bench for Manchester City, as continue to be a bit of uncertainty around Stefan Ortega and Man City maybe just wanting a little more strength in their goalkeeping options, and it's always been considered that Ederson is the first choice over Stefan Ortega, so that's why he made the bench. So if he were called upon to be needed, if James Trafford got an injury, then Ederson would be the goalkeeper that did step in. Anyway, Yagiz Sabuncuoglu said that Fenerbahce had upped their offer to €12 million worth £10.39 million. We'd had no word yet on how much that offer had been upped by, but apparently that offer went up in bonuses, and it was a total package worth €15 million or £12.98 million. Sabuncuoglu had said that an agreement was now in place. This was as per last night with Fenerbahce and Ederson in terms of personal terms. There was a matter of urgency to be made on the fee, with Fenerbahce wanting to get things tied down this morning so they could get Ederson on that flight to Turkey and get this deal done before the transfer window shut. This information came via Fabrizio Romano. Sabuncuoglu had said that Fenerbahce and City this morning had agreed a fee then for Ederson to join Manchester City. That fee had been agreed overnight and early this morning. Fabrizio Romano gave this the here we go Ederson to join Fenerbahce. It's a fee believed to be between 13 and 14 million euros. We're looking at somewhere between 11.26 and 12.13 million pounds with Ederson on his flight to Turkey. I'm yet to see any pictures of Ederson in Turkey, so I don't know if he has arrived or if it's been in secret or he's still on a plane or what's not, but they're going to look to try and get that one sorted. Remember, that transfer window shuts much later in Turkey, so there is no real rush to get things sorted. As long as the deal has been agreed, he's gone over to Turkey and he started his medical and it's all looking perfectly fine and the green light gets given, then this doesn't have to be announced before transfer deadline day today, but it will get sorted at some point over the next couple of weeks. Jack Gaughan has said that that transfer deal was worth £12 million. That was agreed this morning, and this sale's only going to be sorted once Manchester City have got everything in place for Gianluigi Donnarumma to replace Ederson at Manchester City. This was also echoed by David Ornstein, £12 million deal, and City just waiting on everything to be sorted when it comes to Gianluigi Donnarumma. So the other question mark was about our other goalkeeper, which is where we've got the very latest on Stefan Ortega, and Jack Gaughan had said that Stefan Ortega turned down potential offers from Fenerbahce, from Sunderland and from Burnley this summer, and unless something drastic was going to happen today, Stefan Ortega was going to remain with the Manchester City team until at least January. And with how our squad is right now, Ortega potentially may not be registered unless we do see Akanji and also Ederson and also Ilkay Gundogan leave, to which case he can be registered, but then we're going to have 4 goalkeepers as part of our 25-man squad. And I said if we get any injury crises, it just begs the question, and you know, we've needed a right back, we could have been looking at a non-homegrown right back. We've been speaking about how tight it's been with our non-homegrown quota. We could have got this sorted earlier. We could have been targeting a non-homegrown right back to be brought in rather than just looking at Tino Livramento and basically just staring at a dead end, and it's all just a bit frustrating. Anyway, the BBC have said that Ortega is still aiming to leave Man City today, whether that be on loan or a permanent transfer. I'm waiting to see if we get any more clarification on that. I wouldn't rule out, whilst I'm distributing this video, maybe getting the very latest on Ortega, whether that be a club looking to sign him who are potentially interested in putting an offer in and that transfer maybe could or couldn't happen, or whether it's just going to be decided, like it has done with Kalvin Phillips, that he's just going to remain a Manchester City player. There is still the potential of us having 4 goalkeepers and Ortega being registered. We'll see what does happen. Now, moving on to the ins, it does mean with Ederson leaving that Gianluigi Donnarumma is looking like he's going to be a Man City player, and the last bit of business that City are going to get sorted in this window. And whilst Man City were waiting on Ederson to Fenerbahce, City had been sorting out the Donnarumma transfer. They had a medical booked in ready for today, ready for Donnarumma to become a Manchester City player once we got the clearance from Ederson. And now that Ederson was believed this morning to be on his way to Turkey, Manchester City are going to look to try to tie up Gianluigi Donnarumma as a Manchester City player. I'm well aware of some reports coming in that Galatasaray wanted to try and gazump Man City in terms of Donnarumma. That hasn't happened, and we did get the here we go from Fabrizio Romano earlier this morning that Gianluigi Donnarumma is going to become a Manchester City player, and all them agreements were now in place. Fabrizio Romano said that this medical is going to be sorted in Italy today, with the contract being sorted in Italy too, so I'm going to presume that Man City have sent a small delegated team to Italy to sort this transfer. Fabrizio Romano has said that Donnarumma is going to arrive in Manchester once his international duty with Italy is done and completed in under 2 weeks' time. And Fabrice Hawkins has gone on to say that the transfer fee that we're looking at here for Gianluigi Donnarumma that's been agreed with PSG in personal terms are not a problem. They've been agreed as well, looking at around £250,000 a week for Donnarumma's contract. I'm waiting to see how long that contract's going to be for. That'll be quite interesting. Might give you an idea about what the plan is with James Trafford, or maybe not. We'll see how long that contract is. But the transfer fee is worth £25.99 million or 30 million euros, which of course Gianluigi Donnarumma, like Ederson, had 10 months left on his contract. So that has been the very latest in today's transfer update. I'm hoping that we're going to get an announcement on Donnarumma before the deadline shuts at 7 p.m, so I will be back with another video with that for you guys if that does all get sorted. I will be back again tomorrow to help mop up anything else that's happened through transfer deadline day. I'll be back then the day after doing my full transfer review, and that will more than likely bring an end to my daily City transfer update series. So we've still got a couple more days of transfer things filtering through, so we'll see how we get on, but it is looking like Donnarumma going to become a Man City player. Ederson's going to be leaving, and we'll see what else does happen in this crazy and hectic window involving Manchester City. So that has been today's update. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a thumbs up. We're aiming for 400 likes. Any help towards that would be great. Also, don't forget as well to get your thoughts in the comments below. Do subscribe if you're new around here. Less than 300 subs away from 47,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. I'm going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest City transfer news here on YouTube, and I'm also going to keep you guys up to date with everything that's happening on transfer deadline day and also from beyond with all the latest City content. So do subscribe. It is free. Social media links are in the description too. If you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok, email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll see you all again religiously tomorrow for the next daily City transfer update, unless of course we get that expected announcement of Donnarumma, to which case I'll see you guys later on tonight. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well, and breathe. Peace. Ciao for now.